It's the latest smartphone from Samsung, but is it the latest and greatest? Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus smartphone. And if you've been watching, Samsung has 4 different versions of the S25 just to maximize our confusion. I'll explain the differences in a minute, but for now, this one is the Plus, which means it has a 6.7-inch AMOLED screen at 120 Hz. It supports HDR10+, and its resolution is 3120 by 1440 with 2600 nits of max brightness. So it is, suffice to say, a beautiful screen. Now, what makes this interesting is that it is an upgraded processor from the S24 Plus. In fact, most of what's in this is the same hardware as the S24 Plus, including all the cameras, but the processor is significantly faster. This is the Snapdragon 8 Elite. It is an octa-core, as they all seem to be nowadays, but this has 2 processors at 4.47 gigahertz and 6 at 3.5 gigahertz. Wasn't so long ago, I remember that the octa-core would have 1 point something gigahertz. So these are significantly faster. And what Samsung's doing with this additional processor speed is adding lots of AI. We'll come back to that for sure. But it features an Adreno 830 GPU, 12 gig of RAM, 256 or 512 gig of storage. There is no card slot, so unlike earlier Samsungs, you get what you get in terms of storage. The battery, it's a nice setup here. This is a 4900 milliamp hour battery, gives you approximately 2 days of runtime, and it's Qi 2 ready. And Qi 2 means that it has faster wireless charging, and it should have some magnetic capabilities to keep it on that wireless charger. So this is kind of what the iPhone has had, but it's finally making it into the Android world, which is great. And so Android 15, the Samsung OneUI 7, Wi-Fi up to AC, Wi-Fi 6, and Wi-Fi 7. And it's one of the very first I have a call coming in that really doesn't want to not be coming in. That's interesting. So it's one of the first devices I've tested that actually has Bluetooth 5.4. So it's the very, very latest version of Bluetooth, which is really nice. And the front and the back have Gorilla Glass Victus 2. And there's a fingerprint scanner that's actually hidden underneath the front screen. I think it's really cool that they're doing that, which is nice. But I know what you really want to see is how the cameras work. So let's actually switch to me explaining all the different cameras and how they work. But first, let me tell you that there are 3 cameras on the back. They are a 50 megapixel f1.8 24 millimeter wide, a 10 megapixel f2.4 67 millimeter telephoto, and a 12 megapixel f2.2 13 millimeter ultra wide. On the front, there's a tiny little dot, and that little dot hides its own camera, and that camera is a 12 megapixel f2.2 26 millimeter selfie camera. Now, let's actually look at what I've taken pictures of. I went out in the cold to take some videos and photos, and we're going to start here with a 0.6 zoom. So this is a wide angle photo, and you can see as we go to 1x and then 2x that it really just does a beautiful job with these photos. And when you're getting into the more digital zoom, then things break down a little bit. So this is a 10x zoom. And this is a 20x zoom, and it's an interesting picture, but it's not very crisp or detailed. When we get to selfies, there's actually the portrait mode, and so portrait mode here has blurred the background, versus if I just take a selfie without portrait mode, the background is also crisp and in focus. We'll see that again when we get to the video examples. And then I waited till it was very late at night, and again, it was really cold. But here are a couple of night photos, and this one's particularly impressive. Look how it captured all the stars. These are more stars than I saw with my naked eye. So it really took about 8 to 10 seconds and captured a decent amount of light. And then finally, on the photo side, it did an extraordinary job with the macro photography. This is some of the best macro pictures that I've seen from any smartphone. So let's get into video. And first off, here's 1x video. And 2x video. Three X. 6x. And slow motion. And I think this is really exceptional footage. It did a fantastic job with this. And time lapse. Finally, a selfie in portrait mode. I'm using the selfie camera with this right now. So this is the camera that would be facing you when you're holding the phone. And as you can see, it does a really nice job with the video, and you can hear the audio pickup. So let me move out of the way, and you can see it'll refocus, and you can see the background. And then when I come back on frame, then it will actually automatically choose me as the subject and do it using that portrait mode. So it's a pretty nice video. And a selfie not in portrait mode. By comparison, this is just a regular video, also using the selfie camera, but I'm not in portrait video mode. So you can see that the background is still crisply in focus. And when I move off camera, nothing really changes. And then when I move back on camera, it has a wide depth of field. So it's a very different video effect. While we're at it, let me show you some of the processing improvements. So let's go into Gemini, and you can see that was a blindingly fast launch. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, create a picture of a cat painting a painting. We'll see what it does with that. And so now it's doing image processing using AI, and it's using Gemini's Imagen 3 image model. And let's see what it comes up with. This is a pretty tough task.
Picture of a cat painting a painting.
There we go. So that's pretty slick. Now let's see. Let's ask it something a little different. How many teams have won the World Series on even-numbered days?
Unfortunately, I can't give you a precise number of World Series wins on even-numbered days. Here's why. No readily available data. While there are records of World Series...
Well, we're going to stop it. But suffice to say that, I know, really weird query, but how quickly it processed and came up with an answer was really nice. And you can hear that voice is very, very pleasant to talk to. And then in terms of other tasks, you can see it's just super fast. If we go into the Play Store, everything just launches really quickly. And that's really where this faster processor comes in handy. Now, I'm going to tell you just a little bit, because what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the differences between the 4 different S25 models from Samsung. So this, as I said, is the Samsung S25 Plus. So that means it has a 6.7-inch display at 3120 by 1440. The smallest of the 4 is the S25 with a 6.2-inch display running at 2340 by 1080. So that's 1080 instead of 1440, so it's a lower resolution, but it's a smaller screen. The S25 Edge is a 6.6-inch display, also at a slightly different resolution at 2400 by 1080. The Plus we already covered, and then there's the S25 Ultra, which is the largest of them, with a 6.9-inch display running at the same resolution as the S25 Plus, 3120 by 1440. So suffice to say They have 4 different models of S25s that you can choose from, and different memory configurations, and of course different colors. And the hardware, for the most part, is the same as the S24 lineup. So it's really complicated to say who should be paying and getting this upgrade. If you have an S24, unless you want to go to a larger form factor, you probably don't need to upgrade to the S25. If you're back at like an S21 or an S22 or even an A15 or something, one of the lower end Samsung phones, and you love Samsung and you love the OneUI layer on top of Android, this could be a great upgrade. If you're using a lot of AI, and I don't find a lot of people are really leaning hard into AI at this point, but if you are and you're doing it on a mobile device, then this could be a good upgrade simply for that CPU boost. But all in all, the cameras and everything are beautiful. Samsung does such a good job overall with these phones that I think what we're really seeing here is we're seeing the challenge of trying to figure out what the heck do we upgrade this year so that people buy a new version of our device. And I think we're going to see that more and more because those incremental updates aren't going to be very interesting to people that already have last year's top of the line or 2 years ago top of the line. And I can get 11% faster, but I don't even notice how fast it is because I'm just used to my device. So there's lots to like with this Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, but in terms of whether this is the upgrade for you, that's a little more of a nuanced issue. Now, I am going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for notifications of new content. Give me a thumbs up if you found this of value. Hopefully you did. And let me tell you about the price, because this is one that AT&T kindly sent me to review. So this is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, and it comes in icy blue, which is this actually, this might be mint. It's a little hard to say, it's nuanced. So it comes in icy blue or mint or navy or silver shadow from AT&T. If you buy it direct from Samsung, you have a couple more choices of color, which is pink, coral red, or blue black. Either way, it is $999.99 at att.com. And if you want to get it through payments with AT&T, if you have an account, then you can get it down at $27.79 a month times 36 months. That works out to be like 4 cents more than if you just buy it at $99 or $9.99. But hey, now you've broken it into 3 years of even payments, so that's pretty nice. Either way, there's lots to like here. There's lots to enjoy and appreciate with this newest model from Samsung, but I'm really waiting to see big leaps forward and significant improvements. So maybe that'll be the S26. Anyway, that's what I got. Hope to catch you in my next video.